Kia ora whānau, welcome back, beautiful souls. Okay, let's get stuck in with our karakia and then we will get into the reading. Creator of our souls, thank you for bringing us together and for protecting and guiding us as we travel our journey throughout this lifetime. We ask for your support as we serve you for the greater good. Please bring to light that which needs healing, the darkness that needs forgiveness within ourselves and therefore others. Bless us with your presence through these messages and help the collective to understand your divinity within. Amen. Alrighty, let's get into it, whānau. Hey, I just want you to know that I've had a little bit of insight about this channel and where it needs to go, and we're looking at going down more of a trauma healing path. Very important for the collective right now to get onto this healing so that we can uplift as time goes on. So in that regard, look, we all have trauma. There's no doubt about that. No one gets off scot-free here on this planet, but not everyone is in a place to deal with that, or they have other channels that they want to deal with that. I will at some point be setting up a support system. I just need to work out the logistics for that and how I can actually be able to support everyone that needs supporting in a way that works for them and myself as well. So that's something I'm in the process of looking at. But I feel like right now it's important to get the ball rolling. I will be changing the name of this channel potentially. Again, yes, again. But that's because there's been this finding of the feet and, looking at, okay, when, I talked about in the first video, right, the ending of this cycle and going into the new cycle. What is that going to look like? And I feel like this is part of this transition here. And honestly, in my work that I do support work for those who have been sexually harmed, and and that's through lived experience, but I am qualified and trained to do that. So, but there's been also a lot of trauma aside from sexual harm that I have endured in my lifetime as well, that I can potentially assist people with as they walk their healing journey. So in that regard, this is something that I would love to set up for people. I also love connecting with spirit and channeling and getting the messages through. So just perfect that this has come to me to actually combine the two, and from somebody that I actually have worked with as a client has actually said to me today, like suggested the name of the channel, and which I thought was amazing. So I'll ponder on it for a while and work out. Oh my gosh, I knew this card was going to come up. I have been seeing this card, I don't know for how long, and I didn't really know that it was in this deck because it doesn't come up very often, but I keep seeing it. So the fact that it's come up today after talking about all this is mind-blowing. But anyhow, I'll, work out all the ins and outs of how everything is going to look. But part of these changes have been to work out, okay, what am I meant to do? What is spirit telling me to do? What does the collective need? So in that regard, this has been a bit of a change, but I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you who have been here from the beginning, who have seen the changes, who have been with me through the times where I've needed to wind down and not post anything for a while and still remained and stick with me as this goes on. I understand if this isn't for everybody, because it's not, and that is okay. We are all on our journey, and I just want to say that, at the end of the day, where was I going with that? I got taken actually with this glass card, and now I'm off track from where I was going. So I don't know if I'm going to get back on there. But what I do want to say before we start is, this is the longest intro. My apologies, but it had to all come out. If you know anybody who is recovering from any trauma or needs assistance, please point them in this direction, because you just never know who this will help. Okay, I'm not I don't claim to be the biggest expert in the world. I have lived experience at a lot of things that are trauma based, and from that I offer my heart to help you heal. Well, not to help you heal, but to support you in your healing journey, which is, helping with your healing in a sense, I guess. But anyway, let's not overthink that. Juanita, let's not overthink it. Anyway, let's get started for you. Okay, so we have here temperance as the present situation. Interesting. This has come up before, but the fact it's come out in this sort of under this umbrella, I find very interesting. I feel as though there's, for some of you, there's your mind going crazy, 10 to the dozen, and you just don't want to hear it anymore. It's going on and on and on at you, and you can't silence it. And it's actually doing your head in. There may be, for some of you, the temptation to escape using substances, or using, that could be even not always substances. It could be, particularly, I want to say, by diving into social media and just focusing on that and not really paying attention to what is going on around you. And understandable, because there are, thoughts in your mind that just will not leave you alone, and they keep hammering you. And that can be really difficult to deal with, obviously, and so I completely get that. The challenge that you have at the moment is the 7 of materials. And I feel like this is someone walking along, and it feels as though this could be for someone who has been on a healing journey for a little while now. And it feels like every time you put something down, like you walk along a little bit, and it's either that the same thing is there for you to look at again, or there's something else that crops up in relation to the thing that you've just put down, or it could even be something separate, right? And it's just like, oh my gosh, is this ever going to end? And as you look ahead, there's even more there waiting. What I want to say about this is that while that can feel like a block or a challenge in order for you to move forward, I'm just noticing here how this reminds me of a, what is it called? It's like the guitar panel thing, right? And I feel like that what you don't realize is each step you take adds another note to the melody that you are creating, which is ultimately your life. Wow. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful, but it just doesn't feel so, because what it feels like is you come from this dark hole and you're still trying to get out of the dark hole, but every time you turn around, the dark hole's there. It's still there. Hasn't gone away yet. It's still there. And it's like, is this thing ever going to disappear here? Like, come on, hot to. And yeah, it can be a little bit daunting, and quite the sometimes disheartening journey, because you feel like you're not getting anywhere. And not only that, but I notice with these lines here coming forward, it's like this is being brought with you, and sometimes it feels like you may not be able to escape like these thoughts, right? Because look at this person here is sitting here, and it's like this is the actual darkness, right? And it's all around them here. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I just want to be rid of this right now. And the fact of the matter is that one thing I've learned on my healing journey is the things that I have been through and what I have endured has made me the person I am. And without those things, I wouldn't be sitting here right now talking to you. I wouldn't be doing the work that I do to help people with their healing journey. And I find that an absolute honor. Like seriously, it's an honor to help somebody on that journey. And so there's yes, there's going to be things that come with you, because the healing journey, to heal everything at once, that's a big ask. Even though, don't get me wrong, if I had the option of doing that, would I? Absolutely. Could I have coped with that in one go? Probably not. Honestly, probably not. There's just too much. It's too big, and there's too many aspects to it. So in that regard, it can be a a very heavy journey to walk, but a necessary one, because what's happening is from this you are planting a garden of flowers. And this is actually what you see, this garden here that you've planted as you've taken each step along, right? The flowers are starting to plant themselves, because it's like, oh, this is the direction you're heading in, so it's getting better and better as you go. And you are coming out of the darkness. This is the whole thing. You're coming out of the darkness, right? It just can feel a little bit like, oh, it's never ending. Completely get that. So the past events that have led to this is this, I feel like this is a situation that you felt like you couldn't get out of. For some of you, this may have been an addiction to alcohol. Not for everybody, but it could have been an addiction to a substance, like I said before, and it could be very tempting to want to go back into that. I want to encourage you to keep going. Remember how far you've come, right? Remember how far you've come and the progress that you've made. And I know for myself, stopping my addictions, it was like I just, in those times that I felt really weak, weak is the wrong word, tempted, I was like, do I want to go back and start again? Do I really want to do that to myself? Like, this is self-love, right? How much love have you gained for yourself during this journey? Enough, hopefully, to go, nah, I'm not going to do it, And it could be that some of you have slipped off the wagon and you have gone back into it, and this could be what these 3 cups are about, And you could be there going, oh my gosh, what have I done? What have I done? And you're sitting in this empty bottle with this empty glass here, or an empty bottle, and going, oh, I have completely stuffed it up, and being so disappointed in yourself that you're like, this is yeah, you've gone backwards. The thing is that it happens a lot, and it's a process. Right? And what if it's the case that in between every flower that wasn't a falling off the wagon of some sort, And it can happen to the best of us. So what I want to say about that is be patient and gentle with yourself, as you would with someone else who comes to you and says, oh, this has happened and I've, gone backwards and blah, blah, blah. Think of how you would treat them and be kind to yourself, because that is what is going to help you through. The near future here is this Queen of Voices. Now, she is she's pretty staunch, actually. The Queen of Voices. She's in the Rider-Waite tarot. When I look at her, she can be very intimidating, but and almost She can be known as quite bitchy, right? And I want to say to you, be mindful of your thoughts at this time, especially in the future. The other thing is, this could be someone around you who gives you absolute crap for, maybe potentially going backwards. Um, but this may not be the case for everybody, that someone has gone backwards. This could have been, like I say, you feeling like there was no way out. And there will be people who don't get it. People who haven't been in those situations that you have, or experienced what it is that you have, they don't get it. And the fact of the matter is, they can't. There are few people out there who can be empathetic towards you and, support you and sympathize. But at the end of the day, unless you've been there, you don't know. And this is why lived experience is so powerful, because you just know that the person gets it, right? You just know. There are some things you don't need to say. It's like, if you have come off a particular substance, or you've been addicted to, I don't know, shopping, or your phone, or whatever it is, or even addicted to overthinking. This could be an overthinking addiction, just constant thinking negatively about yourself. That if you get together with someone who's positive, they're going to be like, just think positive. It's easy, just do this. But if you get together with someone who's, has had this negative thinking constantly, they're going to be like, oh my God, it's this, it's that. And you're going to be relating to that, right? You're going to be relating with each other about it. So in that regard, I think it's really important to surround yourself with people who have been through the same or similar things, who can understand where you're coming from. Okay. The other thing, though, in all fairness, about the Queen of Voices, is she can be fair. She'll cut all the crap out. She won't put up with any crap. And this potentially could be something that you're doing, especially with the Queen of Voices, being that those words, or that thinking, right? She's not allowing all this chatter going on around here. She's like, hey, heck no. Like, my mind is way more valuable than that. Who am I going to invite in? What thoughts are going to be invited in to sit at the table, and what thoughts are going to be shown the door? So this could be an opportunity for you to begin to master that and step into that energy of the Queen of Voices, right? The Night of Inspiration. And this is in the place of your goals. And this is the celebration of, woo, we did it. The only thing you want to hear is the sound of the freaking fireworks going off, rather than the sound of these crows getting in your ear, right? But I do feel like, actually, on this, for some of you, that there could be a spirit animal who could be a guide for you, being the crow. Some of you may be seeing crows around, or there's things about crows coming up, so that for some of you could be your spirit animal. But yeah, this Night of Inspiration, this is potentially you having an idea. You're like, okay, let me start again. Working on this overthinking and clearing your mind, and this could be clearing out, these things that have been occupying your mind on a regular, like on a daily, 24/7, never leaving. As soon as you wake up, bam, there they are, right in front of you, going, hello, good morning, here you are, right? That it clears the way for inspiration to come through. And this night of inspiration is taking inspired action about it. Okay, this to me is excitement about, oh my gosh, I've had this amazing idea, this is what I want to do. So start writing things down. Start writing down what it is that you want to achieve. And even if you don't have all the ideas, like, or how it's going to happen, just start writing, because that's a step in taking that action, right? So make sure that you honor that, because then next you have the Queen of Inspiration. So this is what you may not be aware of, is that this can actually lead to this. And this one here is frantic with all these ideas coming out, and it's a celebration because these could be ideas that don't weigh you down, because it is inspiring for you to have all these ideas. This Queen of Inspiration, she knows how to go inside and actually she can take, she knows how to implement the action to make the inspiration actually become, what do I want to say? Oh, what's the word? To make it take form, right? To help it take form. Because you look at these pyramids here, those came from wherever they came from, let's be honest. There's so many stories about it. But say, like, for example, someone had an idea to build a pyramid, right? And they were like, oh my God, I've got this idea and I want to, do this and do that. And here's all my plans and this is how I want to do it. And yippee, it's possible. The Queen is the one who actually sits down and goes, yes, let's do it, and is part of this process of building that to the point where she can sit back and go, yes, this is the fruits of our labor. That's what I was looking for before. Here are the fruits of the labor. And so this night of inspiration, while incredibly enthusiastic and almost a little bit cray about it, the Queen is there just to settle that energy down and to allow it to take proper form, right? That's how I interpret these cards. And not only that, but from her fingers here is these strings here. This is connected to a higher power. This is connected to spirit, to your higher self. But what I get from this is this guitar here, right? It's like she's playing the chords. She's playing the chords of the melody that you have worked so hard to create, that you didn't even potentially realize you were creating as you walked along, laying out these flowers as you came out of the darkness. Because look at the circle behind you now is this light, right? Amazing. I freaking love this. Anyway, take a breath, Juanita. Take a breath. Okay, the advice here, or the invitation, is the 8 of Emotions. And this is walking away from the darkness, right? Making the choice, because here it's still coming with us. And is that a choice? I don't know. I'm in two minds about that, honestly. Look, sometimes we can dwell. Sometimes we can get so used to being in the story and telling the story that it's like, who am I without that, right? And maybe this is what this is, cutting out those thoughts of this identifies me as who I am, right? And who am I without it, right? Just say this is someone who drinks alcohol. They identify as an alcoholic. That's not who they are, it's what they did, but it's not who they are. Maybe it's a matter of changing that. So there's just changing this perspective, right? Who am I really? Yes, this stuff may have happened in my life. This trauma may have taken form. But is that who I am? No, it's something that happened in my life. It's an occurrence. It was a crap one. It put me in a black hole, and it was dark 100%. But I have come out of that, and I have walked the hard yards to come out of that. And this is you creating who you want to be. And you may not even know who that is yet, but this is choosing to walk away from the darkness and into a place that, even if you don't know what it is better than this black hole, because this can easily suck you back in at the drop of a hat, Not to freak anybody out, but it can if we allow it to, or things can happen. And because if there's any unresolved emotions in regards to this, we can easily slide down that slippery slope without even realizing it. You know, and this is what this kind of is a bit of a warning, I feel like sometimes, is that we can go backwards. So it's really important to stay vigilant and on top of ourselves. And when we get super excited about something, we can feel like we're on top of the world. And the Queen of Inspiration is just bringing us down, grounding us, and going, okay, so let's deal with this in a manageable way so that we don't get sucked in to this black hole here, yeah? So we keep the light around us. Okay, the Knight of Emotions, and this is in the place here of your external influence, your environment, how people might see you, right? Your Knight of Emotions. Yeah, this is you still getting these emotions under control, right? And this could be about the inspiration. You could be overly excited, which is understandable, honestly. But this, again, is about step by step by step. How is this going to take form? How are we going to actually execute this, right? How are we going to settle everything? Because this horse is rearing up, and this is fast moving, very fast moving, right? But it's learning to come down and settle and walk at a pace that is manageable. And when we're talking about emotions here, this is learning. This is learning to become emotionally intelligent and how to deal with our emotions in a positive way. A way that is not projecting onto other people, a way that we take responsibility and accountability for what it is we feel. Yes, this stuff may have happened to you. 100%. Was it your fault? I don't know your situation, so I would say no right now, right? And even if, look, there's sometimes situations where I think to myself, oh man, I shouldn't have said that to that person. No wonder I got a hiding, and sometimes there were times where I was like, if I was around me, I'd give me a hiding too. Did that mean I deserved that hiding? No, it didn't. But at the same time, it was a matter of me taking accountability for my part in that, you know? And that's not to put all the blame on myself. That person is still in control of their actions. But at the same time, it's just me going, okay, I want to do things differently now. I want to, make sure that my emotions are under control so that if someone is coming at me with some sort of nastiness, that I can just keep not a lid on it, but I can keep myself calm to a point where I can manage the situation better so that it doesn't escalate, and I can actually walk away with my integrity intact, with my head held high. That's the most important thing to me now, is that, and whatever everybody else wants to do, they can do that. I may turn around and walk away, and that person may come and shoot me in the back or stab me in the back. That's on them, and if it's my time, that's my time. I don't mean to sound so blasé about that, but it's like everything will happen as it needs to. And I kind of feel like, the most important thing is that we're swimming through the currents smoothly and in a way that is manageable for us, and in a way that we're proud of. Because we don't come down this journey for nothing, to just undo it all, right? By having a mentor about something. Okay, so the wheel here is in your hopes and your fears. Yeah, I really like this, because for me, the wheel can go either way. Like they always talk about, and this is the thing, there's always ups, there's always downs, right? The wheel is always turning. It's really interesting, because recently, and this is part of the change of this channel, is I've been going through the tarot, the Rider-Waite deck, card by card, and really sitting with spirit and my team and saying, tell me about this truly. Really tell me about this. Because I can sit here and I can recite well, not recite, but I can memorize all the meanings of the cards if I choose to, but it doesn't resonate here with me, right? I want it to resonate. I want it to mean something so that when I deliver it to you, it's coming from a place of not necessarily authenticity, although that is part of it, but it's coming from a place of a deep understanding for me, because then that's the only way it's going to relate for you. So in that regard, for me, the Wheel of Fortune can, spin a certain way, but it can also go back the other way. It can swing in reserve. It can swing. It can turn in reverse. Oh my gosh, that was so hard to get out. Swing in reserve, I was going to say. Maybe that's something in that. But anyway. Yeah. I want to say, though, on that, with that word reserve coming out, some of you may have reservations about something. It could be reservations about going forward. It could be reservations about the healing journey. It could be that you don't want to face the things that are there. For a really long time, I made my story my sympathy card. I told my story because I needed sympathy from people, because what I actually needed was love. And that was the way that I got it, was by people feeling sorry for me. And for a really long time now, when I tell my story, I say to people, I'm not looking for sympathy. And I have to state that to them, because part of me is actually being clear with myself. Why am I telling my story? What is the point here? And if I tell my story now, it's to give people the awareness that I have insight into certain things that they may not otherwise think I would understand. Or it's to relate to them on a level that they realize that I can understand where they're coming from, because yes, I've been through a similar situation, right? So yeah, sometimes we don't necessarily, it can be scary. It can be scary to come out of that, because if that's all we've known all our lives, that can be scary. But, and it was something I was ashamed of. But when I realized while I was doing it, I ended up having empathy for myself, and I went, oh, that's understandable. And now I can say that, right? Now I can say, oh yeah, I did this because of this, and I'm not ashamed of that, because that was all part of it. That was part of the healing journey, and I do it over everything now. Why am I telling this? What's my what's my intention, So yeah, the outcome here, we have the Three of Voices. And what I want to say about this is the outcome of all of this is to pull out this trauma. I was going to say sadness, but it goes way deeper than that. This is pain beyond pain that your standard person knows, right? This is the equivalent to the Three of Swords and the Rider-Waite. So, the point of this is to pull out the swords out of the heart, because the swords are already there, and you're traveling with those swords as you go along your journey. So the whole point of this is to pull them out, okay? And this is the outcome of traveling this journey, okay? The outcome is to stand up and walk into the light, because this person is still in the darkness here, crying in the darkness where no one can see them, feeling incredibly alone, right? So yeah, I know this came up in a few readings ago, but because there's sort of been a change of track in how I want to approach this channel and these readings, and how Spirit want it delivered, this needed to come up again, because I know that, there'll be a lot more people who will relate to this. So yeah, I'm gonna, yeah, we're still gonna do these cards. Actually, we're still gonna do these cards. Look at on the bottom of the deck here, the Thunderbolt Tower moment. This may have been what caused this for some of you, an unexpected moment. Although, the Temperance, that can lead to the Devil, which can lead to the Tower, right? So that's a process as well. So just be mindful of that. Where do you want this to go? Because we all want to feel better, but sometimes doing the work can feel daunting as. So let's get one card. Thank you. The Master. Oh, wow. I love that this has come up for you. This is absolutely incredible. Okay, the Master. Where is it at the back? That's the Fool. Interesting. That's that one. At the front. No. Okay, let's look for it here. The Master. 6. Okay, it wasn't. I was like, it's either going to be right at the beginning or right at the end, and it wasn't. Completely got that one wrong. That's okay. Alrighty, the Master. Here we go. Do you want to have a look at him? Let me just, because he is freaking powerful, and I love this card, and I love that you have got this card. The Master in Zen is not a master over others, but a master of himself. His every gesture his every gesture and his every word reflect his enlightened state. He has no private goals, no desire that anything should be other than the way it is. His disciples gather around him not to follow him, but to soak up his presence and be inspired by his example. In his eyes, they find their own truth reflected, and in his silence, they fall more easily into the silence of their own beings. The Master welcomes the disciples not because he wants to lead them, but because he has so much to share. Together, they create an energy field that supports each unique individual in finding his or her own light. If you can find such a master, you are blessed. If you cannot, keep on searching. Learn from the teachers and the would-be masters and move on. I don't know how to pronounce this very well, but I'm going to give it a go. Charaviti, said Gautam Buddha. Keep on moving. Nice. Okay. Beyond mind, there is an awareness that is intrinsic, that is not given to you by the outside, and is not an idea. And there is no experiment up to now that has found any center in the brain which corresponds to awareness. The whole work of meditation is to make you aware of all that is mind and disidentify yourself from it. That very separation is the greatest revolution that can happen to man. Now you can do and act on only that which makes you more joyous, fulfills you, gives you contentment, makes your life a work of art, a beauty. But this is possible only if the Master in you is awake. Right now, the Master is fast asleep. And the mind, the servant, is playing the role of the Master, and the servant is not even your servant. The servant is created by the outside world. It follows the outside world and its laws. Once your awareness becomes a flame, it burns up the whole slavery that the mind has created. There is no blissfulness more precious than freedom, than being a master of your own destiny. Oh, abso-freaking-lutely. And this is the thing I think, that is important to take away, is to understand that you do hold that power. to create your own reality, right? You to create your own destiny. That power is within you. So I really, really adore that. I'm so stoked that came up. So we're just going to get one card from the daily guidance from your angels, and let's have a read of this for you as we come to a close. Wow, this is so cool. One card. That was two. Just one, please. Thank you. No, that's two. One. Thank you. Blessing in disguise. What appears to be a problem is actually part of your answered prayer. You'll understand the reasons behind your present situation as everything resolves. Trust in heaven's protection and infinite wisdom to answer your prayer in the best way. Oh, I love that. Shall we look at the book too? Yes, we shall. Not that you really have an option. Like, I'm asking you and I can't hear your answer. You're probably like, no. That's okay. You don't have to listen if you don't want. But some people might want the rest. Okay, the angel sent you this card to help you recognize the blessing in the midst of an apparent challenge. What you've appeared to have lost needed to fall away and will be replaced with, the drum roll please, with something better. Have no fear for your future, but continue praying and following the guidance that comes to you through repetitive feelings, thoughts, visions, and words. Additional meanings for this card. One door closes, another one opens. The how is up to God with respect to the best way to answer prayers. Release the need to control and predict the outcome to the situation. Trust. Beautiful. Okay, that about wraps it up. I'm going to leave that with you. I hope that helped. Again, please hit the like button if this resonated for you, and please, please, please share with everyone you know, because you just never know who needs this assistance and they're not reaching out. So this may be the key for them to unlock that door to get the help they need. Okay, I'm going to leave that with you. Take care of your beautiful self. See you. Bye-bye.